So I'm 54. I was born in 1969. I grew up in a country that had cities like Moscow and Abu Dhabi and Dubai and Singapore and Tokyo, and we no longer have them.
Tucker continued to talk about how we used to actually do it right, and we don't anymore.
Excuse me, are you anti-American model?
No, I am the most pro-American. So I'm 54. I was born in 1969. I grew up in a country that had cities like Moscow and Abu Dhabi and Dubai and Singapore and Tokyo, and we no longer have them. And what I have discovered is that's a voluntary choice. As inflation is, as you heard in that fascinating last panel, inflation is the product of choices made mostly by the central bank, not exclusively, but by policymakers. Crime, same. You don't have to have crime, actually. If you don't put, my children don't smoke marijuana at the breakfast table. Why? Because I won't allow them. It's very simple. It's a short conversation. No. And you can run your country the same way. We're not going to put up with that, so don't do it. And people understand that. Filth, graffiti. Paris, one of my favorite cities, New York, one of my favorite cities, are filthy. And part of the reason they're filthy is because people spray paint obscenities on buildings and no one cleans it up. So that encourages more people to do the same. And our policymakers, for some reason, don't notice this. London, another one of my favorite cities. You see English girls begging for drugs on the sidewalk. And I thought to myself, if I'm Boris Johnson, who briefly and very badly ran that country, I would ask myself, like, wait a second, my countrymen are begging for drugs on the street. Maybe I should do something about that. But no, he'll show up and give some speech about Ukraine and how we need to send, more cluster bombs to the brave Ukrainians. What are you doing?
The key part of what he said there is choice. It is a choice to live in a society that is in constant decline. It is a choice to live in a city that does not prosecute crime, that allows lawlessness, that allows mobs to take over the streets and all of those things. It's a choice to allow for graffiti and urban decay. And it's a choice not only for you, the individual, to figure out where you're going to live and how your community is going to behave and what type of people you're going to have on school boards and what type of policing you're going to have and what type of people you're going to vote for. So it's a choice not only for you literally in terms of where you live and the type of community you live in, but it's also a choice in terms of the type of people that you vote in. And then the politicians make choices around that.